Welcome to the Migraine Miracle Moment. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Turknet. I'm a neurologist, migraine specialist, migraine sufferer, and author of the books The Migraine Miracle and Keto for Migraine. In this podcast, you'll learn all about how to find your path to migraine freedom. Let's get started. All right, welcome to another episode of the Migraine Miracle Moment. I am joined today by my wife, Jenny.
Hello.
And we are here to tell you about a new resource that we've just created that we are excited about. And some of you, if you get our newsletter, may know about it, but we wanted to make sure that anyone who hadn't heard it here on the podcast. So the idea for it began a few weeks ago while we were sitting together on a cruise ship, staring out at the ocean. And actually, Jenny, the idea popped in her head, so I'll let her take it from here.
So the idea originated out of my small Slayer Squad groups that I do, where I work with a group of 5 or 6 people, and we chat on a daily basis for a month and take a look at any issues people are having implementing the program. And then also I give them kind of a window into how we specifically implement the program and how it's a little bit different for you than it is for me in terms of the way we do things. And so I think that's been really helpful for people. And I think we've had a lot of light bulb moments in our group with our members that I've been sharing information with. And so we thought, maybe this could be a good way, this newsletter, to be a little bit more personal in terms of how we personally implement the program.
Yeah, so you said, it's really what people really find helpful is when I share exactly what we eat, exactly what we're doing, and we both thought, well, we should, that's a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
And I know people have gotten a lot out of those small groups, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why. And I think there's a lot of things probably that you can get from that sort of thing. One of which is kind of just seeing how someone individualizes the guidelines for themselves. This
Mm-hmm.
is, we do not tell people specific rules. This is how you'd have to do everything, right? Because we know that doesn't work.
Right.
We know that what works is to give people a set of principles and guidelines and help them understand how to implement those according to their own goals and according to their own needs. And I think seeing how we do that is helpful. And as you said, we have similarities, but because we live together and we're
Right.
implementing the same principles, but we also have differences according to our own needs and goals and so forth. So I think seeing that is helpful. And then, like you said, I think there have been many moments probably along the way where people have seen something and said, "Oh, why do you do that?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And where they might have missed it otherwise. And
Right.
So those are the probably a lot of the light bulb moments you talked about, where people seeing that we do something and not being sure why. And one of the challenges is always there's so much here to cover, right? I mean, lifestyle, diet, sleep, nutrition. There's it's really impossible to kind of get that on a first pass. So
Right.
This really, I think, will help to kind of reinforce these things for people, help fill in gaps and so forth. So we should say what the newsletter is called, right? It's called Living the Migraine Miracle.
That's right.
It's a window in how we live this program. Another, I think, advantage of it is that over the years, since the book came out almost 10 years ago now,
Wow.
we've learned a lot. We've changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've modified a lot of things.
Evolved.
We've
Mm-hmm.
learned new things,
Mm-hmm.
both new research that comes out from things that we've done, and then from a ton of things from what people in our community have done.
Right.
And we've evolved over time. And so what's a good mechanism for helping people, see how that's continuing to evolve? And I think this would be another way. When we do something new, we're adding something, we're experimenting with something, we'll put it in this newsletter. Where actually people can hear we're outside right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're on a screen porch that we built last year. And I'm not sure, it's hard to know if we would have had the same motivation to build it had we not done a lot of research about air quality,
Right.
and specifically about the fact that indoor air quality is by far the worst,
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of opening windows and getting outside. So this was partly a way for us to get a lot more outside air into our home and part of the reason for that was because we're researching for, for this program, for our community, and for ourselves. And I'm not sure that we would have been as motivated to do that had we not done that. So
True.
That's also another benefit for us, but also sharing that I think will be of benefit to others. So we'll probably put a few different kinds of posts in here. The idea is just sort of a window into how we're eating, lifestyle stuff. So a typical post might be, what we're eating for breakfast these days, or when we go out to a meal, here's the menu we looked at. Here's how we decided what to get or order based on the program, or here's how we asked things to be modified. And that's another thing, is there are all these different scenarios and situations that you have to navigate. You don't necessarily know till you get there, I didn't think about this. And so I think, having us to model that and see how we kind of approach it is another way it's helpful. Any other kinds of posts that you envision?
Well, I'm excited about doing some recipe remakes. So I love to read recipes and see what's trending and that kind of thing. And so I find it a fun challenge to go in and remake the recipes so they fit within our Migraine Miracle guidelines.
Right.
And then also trying to make them so that some are available or accessible for people who are in the earlier phases versus some added ingredients that might be better for people in the later phases. So I enjoy that kind of challenge, and I'm glad to have a place to share my recipe remakes. And then also, we like to travel, something that we at one point thought we really couldn't do anymore. But now we're able to do that, and we have developed a lot of strategies for doing that successfully. So we'd love to share those with everybody. For example, I know you were going to talk about at some point about cruising and how that can kind of bring out the best and the worst in people, in your lifestyle. And then also we took a bunch of pictures of the buffet, and we thought we'd kind of help navigate through how we made decisions at the buffet and, the bounty of foods that were available to us on the ship.
Yeah, I think, overall, this program has in many ways allowed us to do things and live a life that we wouldn't be able to without it. And all of the resources that we've created are there to try to help other people get to that place as well. And I think this will be a nice way a nice resource to add to that. And yeah, the cruising is really interesting because it affords you the opportunity. You could live. It's really easy to live according to the program, and sort of all aspects of it, not just diet. But it's also you can do the complete worst extreme possible. So it allows you to do either extreme. And I'll say more about that in the newsletter itself.
I also would love to share some ways that I incorporate exercise into my life as someone who doesn't particularly enjoy or seek out exercise.
Right.
But I've found some ways to incorporate it that others might also enjoy. And then I was also going to mention too that I have some updates to the menstrual migraine protocol, and we'll be sharing those as well.
Right. And one of the other kinds of posts that I'll be doing is sort of any new research that comes along in the world of migraine, give you my take on it, as well as kind of how it might fit into someone who is implementing the program. All right, so if you're not already receiving the newsletter, Living the Migraine Miracle, you can click on the link that's in the show notes here, or you can go to the website, mymigrainemiracle.com, and you can sign up right there on the main homepage now. And when you sign up, you'll also get our latest updated ultimate guide to migraine freedom. It's about a 23, 24-page guide, intended to be sort of dense, high yield, and it incorporates the concept of phases on the timeline to migraine freedom. So speaking of things that have come out since the book, that was something we developed after the book came out, when we realized that people progressed in their recovery when implementing the plan. They progressed in a pretty predictable fashion through these different phases, and what seemed to help the most to move you forward depended on the particular phase that you were in. So this guide is to help you with with understanding that concept, and also gives you guidelines in terms of where you, depending on what phase you're at, what actions to take next to kind of move you forward. Since, like we said, this is, when we're talking about diet and lifestyle and a holistic approach, there are a gajillion things. So where to start, where to focus on is oftentimes super important. And we want to make sure that your actions are, you're getting the most return possible for your efforts. So that's what the guide is intended to do. So again, you can grab that if you go to the if you click the link in the show description or go to the website, and we'll send you that. All right, so that is our announcement, the Living the Migraine Miracle newsletter, which is hosted, by the way, on Substack. For those of you who are familiar with it, we decided to go to do that because we enjoy Substack as a platform. We read several newsletters on there, so it seemed like a natural fit. So we look forward to seeing you there.